when you don't win, it's like a fighter. When a fighter has a bad fight, gets knocked out, or loses the fight, the first thing he says is, "We want a rematch." So we won the debate according to every poll, every single poll. I think that are we going to do a rematch? I just don't know, but we'll think about it.
Joining us now, RNC co-chair Lara Trump. Lara, great to see you. What about this idea of another debate? I know Fox would love to host a debate. Brett and Martha, I think it would be, everyone would watch, that's for sure. But it seems that he's mulling it, not sure.
Yeah, well, Donald Trump, of course, had already agreed to a Fox News debate. It was last week on September 4th. Kamala Harris didn't want to agree to that. I wonder why, Laura. Look, I think he's very open. I think the American people deserve to see these two people and hear their ideas. And unfortunately, as you just laid out last night, we really didn't get that. What a disservice that ABC News did to the country. They had an opportunity here to really get to know Kamala Harris, really hear about all of her radical ideas. Donald Trump is the only one, by the way, who talked about that. But on the other side, to give him an opportunity to say things. And of course, it was 3-on-1. He was on defense the whole time, having to fight them all off. But I think what last night showed us, Laura, if it wasn't already crystal clear to everybody out there, is that Donald Trump is not just running against a candidate. He's running against an entire system. This was a continuation last night of the Hollywood production that the Democrat Party has truly become. And Kamala Harris is one of their best actors. You said it. You give her a line, man, she will memorize it. For 4 years, they gave her the line to say, if anybody asked about how's Joe Biden doing, is he up to the task? She would deliver that line and lie directly to the American people. They have cranked this machine up to high speed. And last night, you saw her in quite a performance alongside her fellow thespians of David Muir and Lindsay Davis. But the problem they're having, you just said it, is that the American people were not convinced by anything Kamala Harris said that she is the right fit. They're having a hard time convincing people that she is going to change anything for them based on the bad economy we have right now, the open border that she's been in charge of, the wars that have broken out under her watch. She didn't say a single thing that convinced anybody in this country that that she deserves their vote. Laura, and they're having a big problem with that right now.
To that point that you just raised, I find it fascinating to actually listen to real people. So I'll shut up and let's listen to what an undecided voter said after watching the debate last night.
It's important to remember that we are voting for the leader of our country and not who we like the most or who we want in our wedding party, but who is actually going to make our country better. And we're in an incredibly unique situation where we've had both of the candidates in office before, and we've gotten to see what they would do. And when facts come to facts, my life was better when Trump was in office.
Devastating, Lara. And that census data that just came out yesterday, I wish it had gotten mentioned at the debate last night, but I mean, Americans were richer. Back in December of 2019, before the pandemic, the growth under Biden is dwarfed by the growth of first 3 years under Trump. 7 times the growth in wages. That in and of itself that's the mic drop moment.
Yeah, and people have to remember, you are hiring someone for a job. The people in Washington, D.C., Laura, actually work for us, for we the people. And Donald Trump himself, I think, said in that Sean Hannity town hall last week, look, you don't really even have to like me, but you have to vote for me because I'm good for this country. I'll be good for you and your family. I'll put more money in your pocket. I'll keep our country safe. I'll secure our southern border. What that woman said there in that soundbite, I think, is the way a lot of Americans feel. You don't need to go hang out with Donald Trump, although a lot of people would like to do that. I can tell you he's a great time. But you do have to look at his policies and truly reflect on how your life was when he was in office.
I think it's results versus rehearsed lines. Best Emmy, maybe an Emmy award for that performance. I don't know. That might be the best way to go. Lara, great to see you.
They think she needs another crack at it, so maybe not yet. They're hoping for a second one.
All right, Lara, great to see you.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.